Hello, welcome to Circle One. We've got another episode for you today. Today's episode is episode 14. We are still young in the world of live streaming, trying out a number of different formats, trying out different things, figuring out what works. And so far on the show, we've seen 13 episodes that really fall into either one of two categories. Most of the live streams have either been a talk show format where we bring a panel of guests on, at least two or more guests, to talk about some big picture ideas from the world of work and leadership, where some intelligent, creative, insightful, and talented people see the world of work, working life, and leadership going. And then we've done some profiles. So far we've seen 2 individuals profiled on the show. Those have been awesome. And today we're presenting for the first time a new format, a third format thrown into the mix. And today we're going to do a bit of an Auxesys update. We've been hard at work here at Auxesys, not only serving our clients, but doing a whole bunch of behind the scenes work, working on the business, if you will. And we've had a blast. We've been so fortunate to be able to both service our clients and build our internal systems, working on all sorts of different assets and systems that we have running here at Auxesys, and the bigger system that is Auxesys. And so that's been a blast. And I'm so grateful and thankful to so many of the independent contractors, clients, supporters, collaborators that have helped us over the past 4 months especially. We're pumped. We've got a very small live audience joining us today on Twitch, but this episode will be up on YouTube for anybody who's curious. It's probably going to be a bit of a shorter episode. I don't know about everybody at home, but gosh, I am really feeling like a little bit of a breather is in order. So we might run today's episode for about half hour as opposed to our typical hour. And we're excited with regards to what we have planned in the future for you on the show. We've got some really incredible guests lined up over the next few weeks. We're slowly starting to get out in front of this thing. I really have typically about 2 hours a week to cleave off and dedicate to this, and usually it involves jumping in at the last moment to get the live stream ready and all the settings configured and ready to go live. So now that we've been 14 weeks into the thing, we're slowly starting to systematize it and improve the way that the production of the show runs, and start scheduling and planning and building a list of ideal guests. So if anybody out there wants to be a guest, or if you've got some ideas for guests in the future, we'd love to hear them. And yes, I am in the office. We've got some viewers in the chat. Half Badger Twitch says, "Hey, you're in the office." That's big news, and so that's one of the news items we'll be covering today on the update. So thank you so much, Half Badger Twitch, for joining us on the live stream. So glad to have you. We welcome any commentary, questions, comments in the live chat today, especially given that there may be some people out there who are curious with regards to what we've got going on, what our plans are for the future, where we've been, what we're building, how we're serving our clientele, and how we're working with independent contractors, freelancers, and independents to really try to provide fantastic service to our client partners, while also executing with an amazing group of independent contractors that really are the heart and soul of Auxesys, and trying to take a little bit of a different approach to the way in which we work with freelancers. We are, in a nutshell, massive fans of the freelancer, of the independent contractor, of the independent, of the entrepreneur, of the micro business. And we definitely see, as part of our Auxesys thesis, some changes coming down the pipeline, not only just for us here in our tiny little bubble, but around the world. And my hope is that as the future unfolds, freelancers and independent contractors more and more find themselves in the driver's seat, find themselves with more and more power and autonomy, and are able to more reliably engage in high quality freelance work, independent work, and really carve out a niche, a career, and a working life for themselves, one that they can be proud of, and one that they can find a number of different collaborators and supporters across their networks, to which they can also in turn turn on and rely on. So thank you again very much for joining us. Without further ado, Let's see if this works. It's a little bit new, technically speaking, so it's going to be pretty fun. Let's dive into a little bit of presentation mode, and we're going to start to cover some stuff. So on the agenda today, some of the news items we're going to be covering in regards to the Auxesys update issue 1, I guess. Yes, Half Badger Twitch and anybody else who's curious, the offices are open again. We've been very slow getting offices open. As you can see from the bare wall behind me, our dashboard displays are still being installed, and it's really a kind of a massive system to integrate around here to get everything working. What we want to do with the office here is to really showcase the future of what's possible for the small business and the micro business. And so behind me we've got a really big data visualization installation where typically I've got four dashboards up on the top of the main multimedia monitor that run internal live reports that are always live, and then the office is as automated and streamlined as we possibly can have it, with voice assistants, integrations with all sorts of tools that we use, and streamlined to the point that when I get in the office, I open the door, my sensor triggers a whole bunch of functions, my computers turn on, the screens turn on, the lights do things. So really it's meant to be a showroom, and getting that showroom back up to where it was at the start of things 4 months ago or so is more of a process than I realized. I was able to tear the office down I think in about 6 hours on a Saturday and move everything home. The studio environment that you saw at Circle 1 for the past 13 episodes was my home office actually, but really this is our home. And this will be the studio environment that you see moving forwards. We're going to have some new sets and new things in the works, but we're back. But I think a disclaimer or an important kind of announcement function feature of the offices is that we're being very careful. We're making sure to pay close attention to the health authority and the directives. We are scheduling meetings very sporadically and intermittently. I think we're going to do about 3 in-person meetings a week. We'll have proper social distancing in place. We'll have rooftop meetings on the beautiful rooftop here at the Fortune Building on Main Street in Winnipeg, our head office. Hand sanitizer at the ready, and really the ability for everybody to pick and choose how they'd like to interact with us depending on their comfort level. So, if you do want to book a meeting, get in touch. We'll still obviously always be doing things remotely. And so for anybody who wants to get in touch, you can go to the website, use any booking links. We're always available to chat. Our calendars are open if anybody wants to book links, whether you're an independent contractor, a potential independent contractor, a client or a prospective client. We run a bit of a different kind of show here, and that is there's no free consultation and then we're trying to get into things. It's nope. Digital open door policy. If you want to talk, we're here. If you want to book, we're here. If you want a meeting remote, we can do it. If you want to meet in person, we can also do it, but we're going to be slowly kind of getting back into things. So diving through presentation stuff, if I can pull this up. As I mentioned, we're here on Main Street at 230 Main Street in Unit 308 at the gorgeous Fortune Building. And yeah, we're just so excited that we can reopen the offices and slowly get back into really operating out of our head office here in Winnipeg. So thanks to everybody who made that possible. Thank you so much to the proprietors of Fortune Block, to the Pollard family, to Ryan Pollard and Jeremy Ritzma in particular, and also to the fantastic team at Colliers for helping make it such a smooth and pleasant transitioning out and now transitioning back into the office. I may be running out of water here. We'll see. Side note, I'm more nervous for this episode than I've ever been, I think, because I don't have a team of panelists and people to kind of share the responsibility of communicating. So yeah, I'm nervous. I'll put it out there. All right. So I think that's it for news item number 1. News item number 2. This is a huge one. We couldn't be more pleased when really the pandemic environment struck. We Noticed a lot of increased interest. Obviously, independent contractors and freelancers were out there looking for work, and so they were hitting us up across a myriad of different channels. Our clients were definitely inclined to lean into us, given that we do systems, and obviously it seemed that one of the adequate or proper responses to a pandemic business environment was to systematize, to get new tools and capabilities integrated into the business. So our current clients kind of leaned into us, and we were so pleased and fortunate to be able to lean back into those current clients. And then we saw a peak in interest from prospective clients as well. And we made a conscious effort to, yes, field some of that increased interest, but I think what happened was we added a few clients, and then we decided to just kind of stabilize this. So instead of really trying to dive into marketing and sales and all of those things, which we continued to run our typical programs for, we were stable, we got stable, we continued to deliver our service to our clients, we continued to interact with our collaborators. We ran morning stand-ups with all of the independent contractors every day at 9 a.m. Remotely, and we then turned our attention to improving the system that is Auxesys, building the business, working on the business, and it was a fantastic opportunity to really take that time to mellow out, orient ourselves, look at what we wanted to do and needed to be done, find a way to connect those requirements with the skills, expertise, and specialization that we would need in order to kind of bring that vision to fruition. And so we had a big roadmap, big vision pre-pandemic of all these things that we wanted to have happen, and then the pandemic kind of scrambled everything up. The plans changed, the roadmap shifted, the intent had to be kind of reoriented, but that roadmap still to this day looks fantastic, and we have really been able to bring some pretty cool things to fruition. So the new website is one of them, one of the hallmarks, obviously. A website this day and age being really the cornerstone, not only digitally but holistically for most businesses these days. And so I would like to take this moment to extend a humongous thank you to everyone who helped us with that project. First and foremost, our independent contractors. If you've been privy to any of our updates recently, we had an incredible team of developers, marketing specialists, communication specialists, digital strategists, communication strategists, brand strategists, data analysts, animators, illustrators, creative folks, working away on little mini projects that, when all put together in their totality, resulted in properties like the new website. And so massive thank you. I can't stress this one enough. We have been so fortunate to have such an incredible pool of independent contractors that we work with and collaborate with, and good gosh, I just feel so fortunate. I cannot say how fortunate I feel enough. So hats off to all of you. One of the big plans on the show with the profile episodes is to slowly start introducing the world to some of those personalities that do comprise our pool of independent contractors. There are some amazing talents, some amazing stories, and first and foremost, some amazing people, amazing personalities. And I'm so excited at the prospect of getting to share some of those personalities with the world through the medium of live streaming and some of our other channels. So look out for that. It'll be a pretty cool, eclectic, interesting mix of people that start appearing on the show on the profiles from the pool of independent contractors. Okay, moving on, Auxesys Newsletter. So here's an Auxesys update delivered in Twitch format. There are a number of ways to stay updated with the things that we've got going on, if you should so choose. One of the ways in which our independent contractors stay up to date is we've got a Slack channel that is the Auxesys kind of pool, and we communicate through the Slack channel on just a rolling basis always. We've got conversation going on the Slack channel that has a lot to do with Auxesys internal projects, Auxesys external and client projects, but also the hope is that we've got a community and conversation going there that enables like-minded independent contractors and freelancers to connect with, communicate, collaborate with each other on really anything. And it's been so delightful to see a lot of those folks kind of pursue ventures on their own, pursue clientele, pursue projects, refer things back and forth between each other. That's been a hoot. We've also done remote stand-ups. So every morning at 9, we try to run like a software development team style stand-up where it's a super quick format, 15 minutes. Everybody gets on the call, says their little part, and hopefully we're all kind of staying in tune with each other and adequately identifying any obstacles or opportunities that might be worth pursuing, whether it be under the masthead of Auxesys or just under the masthead of other entities, be it independent folks or other things that they want to pursue. And then there's a couple other ways. One of them is the Auxesys Newsletter. So if you're interested in getting involved, the newsletter, here's the new website showing off a little bit of the talented skills of some of our animators. I'm very hopeful to get the animator that we've worked with on the show. And then if you scroll to the bottom, in the footer of every page on the website, you've got the ability to sign up to the Auxesys update. So that's a newsletter that goes out, hopefully, we'll see, once every 2 weeks. And so here's kind of the second edition of the Auxesys update. It's going to be a very similar format to what we're going to cover here today on the show. New website launch. We've got a fantastic blog series. I'll only touch briefly on this today, but we've had an amazing writer, an award-winning writer, Brian Hockey. Yes, that's his real name. And he's just done an amazing job at developing content and blog stuff for us. This new blog series really is kind of in pursuit of our thesis or hunch that, personality and individuality is going to be really key and a big topic of conversation moving forward. Then we've got the Auxesys Marketing Center, which we will cover today briefly. A little bit of an update on some of the past episodes that we've run. Some of our social channels and such. So that's the Auxesys update in newsletter form. Please do take a moment, if you are so inclined, to head on over to the website, fill out that form, and sign up for receiving that newsletter on a regular basis. Okay, moving onwards, Auxesys Opportunities. So I keep talking about freelancers and independent contractors and micro businesses and entrepreneurs and such. We do have a very specific and distinct way for those people to interact with us and identify some opportunities that we have. So if you go to the website, obviously there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's our services, there's the news page that has our blog posts, and then if you go to the fourth item here on the menu, we've got Auxesys Opportunities. And so I'm just going to cover really quickly 2 of these pages. The first is just a repository that kind of houses all of the posts that we have for current opportunities. Some of these opportunities are specifically open in that we've got a very specific need, whether it be an internal need or a client project need. And some of them are more forward thinking, knowing that we've got these objectives, we've got these ambitions, we want to work, we've got plans to work on networking, for example, network technician opportunity. We're really improving the network security, the network hardware and integration here at Auxesys. We're going to be building an on-prem and cloud hybrid environment for security, backup and redundancy, file sharing, all that wonderful stuff. And so we're very interested in engaging with, on a recurring basis, some fantastic folks who've got network tech experience. And then moving through the list, whole bunch of other things. We're looking for people with quantitative finance experience and expertise, full stack developers, writers, graphic designers, music supervisors. We're also interested in collaborating with agencies, researchers, data entry, report construction. I think the point here, the TLDR, the takeaway is, if you've got an interest in any one of these areas, whether you're way over on one end of the spectrum with 5 years of experience and tons of expertise and certification, or you're on the other end of the spectrum and you're thinking, well, I've done data entry, but I'm curious about exploring writing or analysis or digital marketing or even web animation or anything else. We encourage anybody who visits the site and visits this page to throw their hat in the ring regardless. We really are trying to be as low barrier to entry as we possibly can with regards to the independent contractors that we engage with. And the goal is Auxesis's job is to traffic control, to project manage, to take the totality of work that is done by the independent contractors, to synthesize that all together and use it either internally at Auxesys or deliver it as a beautiful, nice package to our client partners who we work with on a highly strategic basis. But also part and parcel with that is that it is, yes, a group effort. Yes, it is a collaborative team environment, and Auxesys takes the responsibility of synthesizing. And so if in the situation that there are folks who are, on the front end of their professional journey, the opening strides of their foray into independent contracting, we want to explore that. We want to explore that in everything that it means, in the wins and all the great things that we'll be able to do together, but also in exploring those things that are difficult to do, those things that take time, those things that we do and try and fail at and have to pick ourselves up by the bootstrap and try again and identify how and where we can improve, and we want to confront that stuff head on and say, that's okay, that's the name of the game, that's the way it goes. Nobody starts out being an expert, nobody starts out with specialization. We need to find a way for independents and freelancers to get there, and to get there faster and better, and to feel supported and to feel even like they're part of a team, even though they are, out under their own shingle as an independent. So that's the goal there, and we've been so blessed, so fortunate to have a fantastic pool so far, and we welcome anybody who's interested in exploring independent contractor freelance work with us here at Auxesys to check out the website, hit us up on any channel where you can find us, and pursue that conversation in any way that you see fit. Excellent. Okay, moving onwards, what do we got? The Auxesys Marketing Center. So this is another big property. The website was a big announcement. The Auxesys Marketing Center is another big one. With some of our marketing partners and vendors and co-marketers, we've had the opportunity to, launch a pretty cool platform for marketing. And so I say this to anybody out there who is a local business, a professional services firm, a micro business or a small business, and also to anybody who might be an independent contractor or freelancer who really is looking for a place to conglomerate, to bring all of their digital marketing efforts under one kind of roof, to simply monitor, manage, and take action to improve. And I think the commonality between a lot of people, whether they be independent or working with an organization, is that digital marketing can sometimes be overwhelming. I know I get overwhelmed with it myself. I see all these amazing things happening on Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter, and I tend to look at these things and think, oh my God, this person has 1 million likes and shares and all the rest of it, and I've got to, burrow down and just, hone in on that one channel and rip through that. And the Auxesys Marketing Center is a little bit of a way to get our head up out of the sand and say, wait a second, there's some fundamental stuff, there's some foundational stuff that we can do from a digital marketing perspective that is important, some best practices that we really should be thinking about putting into place before we go off and pursue super sophisticated, single channel strategies, because each of those channels, has enough nuance to be able to make it a full-time job for yourself. Like just trying to figure out Instagram, for example. If you want to become an Instagram expert, you could probably spend 60 hours a week at it for the rest of your life, and you'd still be finding things to learn and improve upon. Hashtagging, sharing, following, reposting, all that stuff, right? And that's all well and good, but the Auxesys Marketing Center is meant to be foundational. So some of those foundational things, if you're curious, would be to connect all of your accounts, to take a look at your social performance, your listing performance, so where your business information appears on the web, your advertising performance, if you do so have some, your website performance, and your reputation. And this is a big one that I myself even often missed, but is, I believe, so critical this day and age, where the customer journey has really changed. The customer journey used to be, hey, I need this service, I'm going to ask for a referral, some people in my network are going to tell me, the best person in the business or locally to help me with this service, and great, and that may still occur, but really nowadays there's an additional step, and that typically is you pick up this bad boy, you do a Google search or a Google Map search, and you start to look, what are other people online saying about this business and this service? And so, to summarize, the Auxesys Marketing Center helps bring all of that stuff together. So very quickly before we wrap up the show, let's take a look at the Auxesys Marketing Center, how we might be able to get there. So if we find ourselves on the Auxesys website here, you may notice there are services. If you go into Auxesys Essential, we've got 3 service categories. The Auxesys Marketing Center is one of those key components of our Auxesys Essential. Even I can't pronounce it. Jeez. The Auxesys Marketing Center is a key component of our Essential services. But then over here at the top right, you'll see Client Login. And so I'm already kind of logged in. It recognizes me. And so I'm logged in here. We've got a pretty simple looking interface that I'll just run through very quickly for anybody who's watching and curious. So when you first log in, something important to note, it's free to sign up. So if you're curious and you're either a small business, professional services firm, or an independent contractor or freelancer, and you're curious about some of the tools that might help you kind of solidify your digital marketing foundation, go to the website, click Client Login, click Sign Up. It'll bring you to a sign up page. You input your information, you'll sign up. You will always be able to get access to the Auxesys Marketing Center portal for free. And what you'll find is you get 5 tools that we call the foundational 5 that you will get basically a 30-day trial of these free versions of the tools. And then if you're interested in pursuing some of those tools further, hopefully that 30 days gives you the opportunity to try out each of these individual tools and see what it can do for you, and if you're even able to see some improvement in terms of your performance using those tools. And then you can kind of pare things down and combine those tools in whatever way you see fit for yourself, based on whatever strategy and objective that you determine is meaningful for you to pursue. So, but a tour, typical to most digital platforms that you access through a browser. On the left side here, we've got our navigation, and it's separated into three kind of areas. I'm just realizing here that this might be a little bit small, so I'm actually going to increase the size here. So we've got 3 sections. The first is kind of general reporting. The second section is our products, and the third section is an administrative section. And I'll cover each of these from a really high level. And so what happens is when you log in, you'll get a dashboard. And this dashboard wants to show you, just from a very high level, how you're doing. If you think about a marketing funnel in terms of the people who learn about you and see you somewhere, then further down the funnel, people who engage with you, who take some type of action to leave a comment or to look up your business or to leave a review, and then you think about leads as people who are actually taking a concerted effort to seek you out, to seek out communications with you. You get really quickly a look at that performance, and I can see I've got over the past 90 days some sporadic, we had some marketing launches at these peaks for our engagement, but I want to kind of really see what's the trend line, how are things doing. So we've been using our account as kind of a case study. And so let's look at the last 30 days here. We've seen some spikes, we've seen some trending up, and things are looking nice. But we'll dive into that a little bit further with the executive report. And you might ask, how do we start getting all this data? It's as simple as going over here to connect accounts. You get some options, you click plus, you're able to quickly, with like an SSO or a connected API sign in, connect, for example, your Facebook page or whatever other social or platform page or account that you might want to connect. So pretty easy way to connect up all of your accounts. And then there's even resources. So if you still are clicking around in everything here, you can go over to watch overview video, and a little video will come up.
Welcome to your personalized business app. Your new home.
We'll have somebody walk you through it in video format to show you exactly how this thing works from a really high level. So that's the dashboard. If we scroll further down the dashboard, there's more resources, understanding a typical customer journey in the year 2020 with all these digital components, understanding the products, a little bit of an inbox, and then we would dive into executive report. Inbox is simply a bunch of updates from the platform. And then executive report is a little bit of a deeper dive into how you're performing across these 5 categories that I mentioned. So how are my listings doing? How's my reputation doing? How's my social doing? How's my website doing? And how's my advertising doing? And so I'll scroll through really quickly and take a peek. Let's take a peek at my marketing funnel. Okay, I can take a look at this. I can also actually take a look at my reports from a weekly perspective or from a monthly perspective. Let's stay weekly. Let's take a look at our most current report. These all get saved and emailed to you automatically if you set that up, which it is set up by default. We're going to scroll over to listings. And this is a big one, thinking about us in terms of a case study. When we first started on the platform, we were over here at an F in terms of our industry. So it compares you to how your industry is doing, and we were not doing very good. Our business information was not listed in enough places, and it wasn't listed accurately in some of those places. And so just from kind of a best practices perspective, or from a technical perspective, the big boy, Google, likes something in particular. And people will talk about it. You might hear the acronym NAP thrown around, N-A-P, name, address, phone number. And what Google really likes is if it crawls the web and finds that your business has the same name, address, and phone number across a wide number of platforms, channels, locations, listings, Google goes, hey, that's great. These guys are probably an authority. They probably deserve to be shown in search listing results, search engine result pages, SERPs, as you may begin to hear it called. And Google likes that, and the more that you can do that and the more accurate and aligned that information can be, the better. So as I mentioned, we started out with an F, and using this tool, I think I've even used the listing tool probably for a total of 40 minutes, 60 minutes. I don't have hours and hours to dump into this type of thing. I've gotten myself up to a B, and I'm doing pretty good in terms of comparing to the rest of my industry. So it gives you a score. I've got a score of 32, and let's take a look at my listings. I've actually used this listing builder tool. This is giving me a geez, the words, they escape me. A little indicator that some of my Google information might not be entirely accurate. But then I've used this listing builder tool, which I'll dive into, to make sure that my listing information is accurate across these channels: Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Bing Maps, Yelp, Compio, Apple Maps, but then also 25 plus other ones. Auxesys is now searchable and findable in Uber rides, in BMWs, in GM cars, in Fords. We're on Foursquare, Apple Maps, Yelp, all over the place. And you might ask, John, you said you only spent like 60 minutes doing this stuff. How did you get your accurate listing information across, I think it's 32 locations that we're in now? And I'll show you that in a minute. But it's called Listing Sync, and it's pretty darn cool. So here we go. Welcome to any new viewers in the chat. I'm noticing that a few more people are joining us. We're just walking through the Auxesys Marketing Center now for anybody who's just joining us. And we're talking about listings and listing distribution. So this tool helps us make sure that we've got accurate and aligned listing information across a number of different channels. And I'm going to dive into Listing Sync and Listing Sync Pro in a minute. But before we do that, we're going to scroll through the rest of our executive report. So we just looked at listings. We went from an F to a B with a little bit of effort. Then we go down Google My Business. We've seen much improved Google My Business results here. I think if you dive in a little bit further to our Google My Business results, I think in the past month or so we've seen a 700% increase in Google Maps in particular. People are jumping on their phone into Google Maps and just looking for professional services, accounting firms, data analysis, whatever they might be looking for. And if you've got accurate business information, a few nice looking photos, some good reviews on Google My Business, that's going to go a long way in helping people find you, because they can't go knock on your door necessarily as easily as they could, let's say, 4 months ago. So that's a little bit of a look at our Google My Business performance. Then we've got reputation down here. We actually used the reputation. Oh, thanks, Mom. Mom left me a 5-star review. Nepotism makes another appearance. But we've got a little bit of an overview of our reputation here, and then you can take action and jump into the reputation management tool just by clicking that button. I opened it in a new tab. We jump into this reputation management tool. And this reputation management tool actually enables you to request reviews, interact with reviews. I would maybe say thanks, Mom. Hey, why not? You know, hey, a little bit of little bit of personality never hurt. But you know, I swear it's not just all family members. Here we go. We've been able to do all these responses in, you know, a really quick, streamlined fashion to anybody who's providing us with reviews. Then looking down further, we've got social media. How's my social media performance? This is a new one for me. In my previous business, I ran a pretty heavy social strategy with Instagram and Facebook and some decent followership. But with Auxesys, you know, it's been new and it's been slow to get into. But we just now used our social tool to do a bunch of scheduling, to schedule a bunch of posts. I need to make sure that my social work isn't all-encompassing. Social is important to me from a certain perspective, but as I mentioned, it could be a full-time job. I don't have 60 hours a week to dive into my social. I need to find a way to make it smooth, streamlined, reliable, and have the best practices in place. So we use this social marketing tool to schedule up a bunch of posts across these channels that we have connected. And then website. I've got some website performance reviews, and really this is a very high level view of what you would see if you did jump into Google Analytics, which if you're like me, if you open up Google Analytics, you go, oh my gosh, information overload. But here is a very streamlined, pared down version of how you're doing. And with our new website, some of the work we've done, we're seeing some fantastic results. 88 users, not a ton, 150 sessions in the week, 795 page views, a long average time on site. I think this has a lot to do with the fact that our independent contractors are checking it out, quite engaged and interested. And then our bounce rate, meaning how many people come to the website and see one page and then leave. And you want this bounce rate to be reasonably low. People will tell you that a 40 to 60% bounce rate is ideal. You don't want to get up over 60% because that really means that people are coming to your site and leaving, bouncing, while not looking at more than one page. And we've managed to get our bounce rate down 14.82% in the last week. And then our pages per session, we're actually lost a bit of performance in our pages per session. And then we can go down further and see, you know, all these other referral sources and stuff. And then, you know, we are thinking, you know, our social we're getting under control, our listings we're getting under control. And next for us really is to start to think about ad strategy. About 6 months ago, we tried to launch some ad stuff. I think we spent a few $1,000s on ads, and we just kind of saw it fizzle a little bit. And I think that was part and parcel to trying to run some ad with not enough expertise. Myself, you know, I'm a generalist, so I learned and did whatever I could. But then also because we didn't have that foundation, and that marketing center now has given us the foundation. We're feeling super confident about our listings, our reputation, our social, and now I'm really thinking it's probably in the next few weeks time to start to explore advertising and an ad spend. And so this advertising section here is going to let us take a look at how we're doing. So maybe Auxesys Update 2 on the live stream, we might jump in and use ourselves as a case study and show how are we doing from an digital advertising perspective. So, you know, that is the report section. And then jumping into these products, I showed you reputation management. I can show you social marketing if you're curious in the future. But let's take a look at listing builder really quick. And so this listing builder, you know, I mentioned I was able to get all those listings up and accurate and synced in about probably 60 minutes of work in total. And if we jump into listing builder, we see a pretty general kind of landing here. Let's look at edit business profile. So if we click on edit business profile, we get into kind of the administrative section of the Auxesys Marketing Center. And we see a whole bunch of tabs here at the top: location, hours, social marketing, media. The Auxesys Marketing Center kind of synthesizes a representation of all that business information that you'll want to have on the platforms. You basically just go through, fill out all your business information here, the services you offer, your phone numbers, your address, your hours, chuck that in, your social platforms, chuck those in. Oh, we just did Instagram, I'll have to update that. Your marketing stuff, a little bit of SEO and such, and your media, some images that have to do with your business that you might want to appear on those platforms. And then if we jump back into Listing Builder here, and we've actually got Listing Builder Pro. We used the free version of Listing Builder that I think allows you to sync across 4 sites, and we really saw a benefit there. So basically, once you've got that business info updated, you jump in here, you click this button, sync, and we synced it across 4 channels instantly: Google My Business, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And by sync, I mean I didn't have to go into Google My Business and type out all my information again and then do the same for Facebook and the same for Twitter, etc. I just click this button, and then we updated to Listing Sync Pro, that I think is just south of $50 a month or around that. Forgive me if I'm misquoting here. And instantly, I was able to sync to all of these locations, and Listing Sync Pro handled for me nothing. I didn't really need to do anything. It established those profiles for me across these channels, and then it synced my information with them. And so I know all of these channels have my information up, submitted. There's different stages. I think I did this about 2 weeks ago, so I'm still waiting to sync on Apple Maps, but I've got all of these statuses being updated. So synced, submitted, and so we're slowly rolling out across these channels, and I think that this can really be attributed to a lot of our improved maps and Google My Business growth and just basic digital performance. So huge one there, largely recommended. Even if you do the free version, if you use the free version for a month and you're curious about reaching out to us about getting it extended, we're relaxed. We gladly talk to you about that. And then Listing Sync Pro. So that's Listing Sync. Let's take another look back here at whatever else might be worth covering. I think there's really only one thing worth covering over here, and that is a couple things. The store, we can take a look at products and the store. So we've got a storefront. If you want to launch new stuff, if you want SEO done for you in your business, we've got some SEO packages. You can even buy G Suite straight through the platform. You can engage with us to help you manage the platform if you want. So maybe you're looking at this and you're going, oh, even this seems too much for me. Jump in here and click on this button, Done with Us, and we'll jump on a couple calls with you throughout the month, and we'll take care of a lot of the stuff that you need done, connecting your accounts, getting stuff posted, etc. If you want to get the pro version of each of those 5 tools, which I would highly recommend, $175 a month monthly, you click on that, you can launch that from a click of a button. And then that second thing I wanted to show you guys was the guides. And so, like I said, even still, you might be looking at this platform and going, SERP, SEO, platforms, listings, oh man, that's a lot. But I am curious, I want to learn. Either you're an independent contractor or a proprietor of a business and you think, well, I've got to start somewhere, I've got to start priming myself and getting myself up to speed with some of these things. You click into guides and you can jump in here, and there's a whole bunch of guides about different kind of digital marketing strategies and tactics. So let's just take a look at them. Setting up an e-commerce website, setting up an online store, why single socket layers, security certificates are important, keywords and keyword research, why are listings important, how to deal with negative reviews. It's a reality. If we're going to put it out there and ask people for reviews, we might get some negative reviews. It's just natural that not everybody loves exactly what you do, and there's a good way and a not so great way to deal with those reviews. And if this stuff is kind of new, these guides might be a point where you can jump off and just slowly start to sink your teeth into some of these concepts and start to familiarize with them. So a fantastic little library of guides here. It's pretty exhaustive, actually. It loads and loads and loads. And so if you're curious about something, chances are that there's a guide for it in here. So, okay, jumping back into presentation mode. We changed the size here. Let me resize this. That's the Auxesys Marketing Center. I'd like to finish up today's live stream with the thank yous again. And I mentioned it at the top. I mentioned it throughout. I'll mention it again. What we've seen in Auxesys is that it's very easy for us to get overwhelmed as a small business, as a micro business. We know that small businesses and micro businesses are important to not only our economy but our social fabric as well, and survival rates, making it work, sticking it out, pushing through difficult times like a pandemic environment can be very overwhelming. We feel it here at Auxesys all the time, and your bandwidth, your attention, your ability is always constantly being tested, and you're being tempted to be drawn in a million places at once, and also tempted to do things that maybe are a little bit outside of your reach, your capabilities, and you might think to yourself, well, it's so expensive to engage with specialists. And I think what we're seeing in this kind of new world, this new world of business, work, and leadership, is that you can find leaders who aren't traditional leaders. You can find experts and specialists who are not necessarily CEOs and managers and account executives and all that stuff. You can find fantastic assistance from the independent contract freelance world, and I really think that kind of business model or way of doing things is in need of an update. So you may have heard stories from the world of Uber, stories from the world of some of these other platforms like Guru and Fiverr and Upwork, which are fantastic platforms, but I think it's time for a bit of an update to the gig economy. Gig economy 2.0, it's time to put trust and transparency at the forefront. It's time to pay our freelancers and independent contractors the respect that they deserve. It's time to get away from that race to the bottom and say, look, we can realize some cost savings by working with independent contractors, but the age-old adage of you pay for what you get is still in effect. We still need to make sure that we are paying these people appropriately, that we're valuing their work, and that we're not pitting them all against each other in this race where we're trying to swap them out one for the other based on this lowest bid structure. So that's what we're trying to realize here with Auxesys, and I think that the proposal is here. We've begun to start to realize it, and that to me requires a thank you. Thank you so much to anybody out there who's ever worked with us, engaged with us, even if only for a discussion, to share your ideas, or to have worked on Auxesys internal or external client projects. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. We're huge fans of independent contractors. We're huge fans of all of you. You are amazing. I think we've got 25 independent contractors in the pool, and I don't think any of what we've done could have happened without any one of you. So thank you so much, and a few more thank yous. Thank you to everybody out there doing their thing, for getting on their grind, for keeping pushing through, for persevering, for retaining big, bold, audacious visions of the future, and for being a part of the ride and reimagining what the future of work and leadership entails. Hats off to all of you, and of course hats off to all of our frontline workers, all of our folks in government, everybody who's tried to make a go of this thing. It ain't easy, but we have the utmost respect, admiration, and good fortune of knowing that we've got incredible people on the front line and in government dealing with the way forward. So that's, I think, everything from us today on the live stream. I said it would be a short one, but as you may have come to know, I'm a bit of a blabbermouth, but it's been a treat. Thank you so much. We look forward to next week's show. We're going to discuss agriculture in the 21st century. We've got some amazing people on the panel. We're super excited to have that discussion next week. So please join us. Do tune in for another episode of Circle One, and have a fantastic weekend with your family, your loved ones, and your friends. From us at Auxesys, over and out. Oh, that's supposed to be credits.